Hi guys, how we doing? So, this is going to be our last video on this guy, and I am out here a little earlier than I would normally be, but basically I want to get this done so that I can get my Frankenfrog statue out of the elements, so that I can get him repaired before he falls completely apart. So we're actually gonna be using a couple of colors today. We're gonna finish up the face with the purple, and that's just gonna be this little piece up here, and also these little feathery things there. And then we're gonna take a mixture of the black and the pink to do the inside of the mouth, and we're gonna use this really cool green for the eyes. So that's gonna be our total for today. And then I don't know if I'm gonna film. Ooh, I almost made his eyes purple instead of where I wanted that to go. And I don't know if I'm gonna film the repairs on Frankenfrog. I have to look and see how bad it is. I may just go ahead and shore him up so that we can start repaint tomorrow. It's been a couple of years since I did that frog, so he was the second project, I think, that I did on this channel. So he's ready for a little bit of a new look. And that actually is going to tie in really nicely, I think. I love that he has ended up being almost completely jewel tones. I think somehow it works. And I am definitely looking forward to getting him out in my yard. And I think he's actually going to get the high gloss clear coat, which I do have now. So I am going to be doing a few things in that high gloss to see if I like that effect better, the same, or less than my usual matte finish that I use. I just think on these shimmery, shifty paints, I think the high gloss will be a good effect for it. I was gonna do this a bunch of different colors, and I kind of decided that we don't need to overkill it. So now I'm going to shift you guys so you can actually see what we're doing. I'm just trying to make sure I'm evening them out. Well, that's kind of neat. You guys get a nice up-close view of this one. There we go. So I know you see a lot of people wishing Happy Memorial Day and all of that. That is not something I do. I do recognize Memorial Day, and I do, I believe in the importance of it. But happy and memorial don't exactly go together. Memorial Day should be a somewhat somber remembrance of people who gave their lives for this country. That is the whole point of it. So, if you are on my socials, or if you are on here wondering why I haven't wished anyone a happy Memorial Day, that is why. because it should be an appreciation and remembrance, not some green in there. There we go. So now I'm going to kind of bring you guys down a little bit further. Oh, that's my fingers I'm seeing in there. Some days you're going to see me a little bit off. I do live in an openly haunted home. If you've been around a while, you've heard me talk about it before, but some days they just mess with us. You know what, Jamie? It works better if you open your paint. Now that I've gotten these, which here's the pink, since I've been showing you guys the colors as I pull those off. Now that I've gotten these, I think I might actually be redoing my gazing ball as well. Just nothing too crazy, just maybe spraying it down with the silver again and bringing it in and kind of having a little more fun with these paints as opposed to some of the others that I used. And that is just, these paints are really, really nice. And I have a lot more color options and I can make it a lot more striking, I think. Well, that darkened a lot more than I wanted it to. We achieved a very cool purple, but that is not the tone we were looking to get. The goal was a very dark pink, not a bright purple. There we go. So that's a little more what I had in mind. And that's just going to be easier said than done to get. Forgive me for a moment being offline here. We're just gonna trying to get it so that you guys can see what I'm doing and I can see what I'm doing, because this is a very small space. There we go. You can kind of see. Oh, I went too far. I do apologize. I know the angle's not great. If I can bring you guys over a little bit there. And yes, I am well aware this is not something people are going to really be looking at super hard. But I'll know the details were done. And once again, it's in my yard, so. And if you hear a weird quality to my voice as I'm talking like this, it's because I was sitting at a very strange angle. But there we go. So I'm actually really happy with how this guy came out. And I am going to move some of the paints off of it here. So, well, stuff in general. So that you guys can actually see without me having to move anything. Our final. Oh, I missed one. Oh, nope. I almost forgot a detail, didn't I? I got ahead of myself. It happens. I'm human. He doesn't have any eyes. Well, he has eyes. They just don't have much in them. Let me bring that tiny brush back. And this is one of those cases where I'm not going to actually pour paint out. We're just going to pull it out of here. Oh, I like that. There we go. Now, we're going to do the same thing, but with black. I am glad I started doing that final looks thing, because I would have completely forgotten those eyes. Mondays are always a little wonky for me. And especially on weeks where work was particularly stressful or crazy. It can get really, really wonky. And this weekend, work was definitely very, very crazy and stressful. So, now we can do that final look thing. So, I definitely like this a lot better than that crazy green and red thing I had going. But he is done. And I am a big fan of this. I do love the way he has turned out. And I just backed you guys up a little bit so that we get a full effect. So, there he is. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And we'll be back tomorrow with the beginning of taking care of poor little Frankenfrog.